Hey, it's me, Wasabi, and this video is to help anyone who already has the first version of the Zowie U2 and is wondering if the new DW version is worth the upgrade. Or perhaps if you're just interested to try the U2 Shape for the first time and just want to know the differences and similarities between the two versions. So let's start with the basics. Both these mice have a right-handed symmetrical shape. Both mice weigh the same, but they are priced differently. The DW version is $20 more expensive than the original, and as we go through this video, you will notice that the differences are very minor. Basically, the DW version has a new sensor, a slightly tweaked shape, and a new 4K enhanced receiver so you can do high polling rates, and that's about it. Design: the overall design of this mouse is pretty much the same, there's no comparison here. And regarding the weight, there's no difference here as well, both mice weigh 60 grams. For the shape, there are very slight differences to the shape and dimensions between the two. For instance, if you look at the tail of the mouse, you will notice that the U2-DW has a chamfer, this curve right here. And for some people, myself included, experience the mouse clipping the skin of their palm. And this really depends on how you hold the mouse. Some people do not rest their palm on the pad while others do. It is something that I do a lot, so this is a very nice change for someone like me. As for the changes to the dimensions, there is a slight increase in the height of the hump and reduction to the width of the rear end. So something like this makes it feel like you got slightly more hump support and not as filling in the rear end. The width down the middle of the mouse is a little wider by 0.4 millimeters. I think this change is because quite many people felt that the mid section of the mouse was a little too skinny and the front height of the mouse was reduced by 0.2 millimeters. I remember seeing some feedback saying that the mouse buttons were just a little higher than what most people prefer. So these are nice little adjustments to the shape, and you could say that it feels slightly less aggressive and at the same time a bit more comfortable to handle. The changes are quite minor, so it's not enough of a difference to call it a V2. Both mice have excellent build quality. My U2, when I first got it, felt like it was built like a tank, and it is a mouse that I've been using more than my GPX and Viper V3 Pro, and till today it still feels absolutely solid. If I compare the build quality between the U2 and the U2-DW, honestly I cannot say that one is better than the other. They both feel really good. But for the original U2, maybe I just got lucky, but there have been some reports of the mouse creaking on the sides. And if that is something that is of much concern to you, the safer bet would be to go for the newer U2-DW version. Other than that, these feel like proper high quality gaming mice. All buttons, scroll wheel, and the coating, it all feels like they're using quality materials. About the coating on both mice feel pretty much the same. There is nothing to compare here. For the switches, both versions have Huano transparent blue shell pink dot mechanical switches, and the clicks on the DW version I would say feel a little lighter and you get less vibration from the click as well. I would not say that it feels significantly different. For the side buttons, the rear side button of the U2-DW has a slimmer shape. Gamers with larger thumbs felt that the side buttons, especially the back side button on the original U2, was too large and it was too easy to press by accident. I personally love the side buttons of the original U2, but this is a minor adjustment to help make this mouse more user-friendly to more gamers. For the scroll wheel on both mice, scrolling is light yet notches are very distinct, which to me is an excellent combination for gaming, and clicking on the scroll wheel requires a moderate amount of pressure to actuate. Between these two mice, the difference of the scroll wheel experience is very subtle. The scroll wheel on the U2-DW version feels just a little tighter. But of course, not forgetting the fact that my original U2 has been around for a very long time. Now for the tech differences, basically the U2-DW has the newer port 3950 sensor and can do a wireless polling rate up to 4000 Hz with the newer 4K enhanced receiver included in the box. The original U2 has the port 3395 and can go up to 1000 Hz wireless polling rate with the original enhanced receiver. Differences between the two sensors, most people find it negligible. The newer port 3950 can do 30,000 20,000 DPI, while the PAW 3395 can go up to 26,000. And that is something that I don't think is very important. The most significant difference between the two sensors is that the PAW 3950 can achieve a lower liftoff distance, and it is also known to track better on glass surfaces than the PAW 3395. So other than that, you really would not notice the difference between the two in practice. And between 4000 and 1000 Hz, it's a very small difference that you can only notice if you have a good PC and monitor setup. I use a Zowie XL2566X plus 400 Hz monitor for gaming, and while I can see the difference between 4000 and 1000, I cannot say that it's important. It's more of something different to experience than something that gives you an edge over the competition. Also, the battery life is longer on the U2-DW, but both versions come with a charging dock, which makes it so easy to charge. So honestly speaking, I've never actually ran out of battery meaning a Zowie mouse before. And the last thing about tech is that you can pair the original U2 with a 4K enhanced receiver. All you gotta do is a firmware update on the original U2, and that lets you pair with a 4K enhanced receiver, which then you can use high polling rates of 2000 and 4000 Hz. Alright, recommendations. If you already have the first Zowie U2, I don't feel like there is a need to get the DW version, unless you absolutely love the shape of this mouse and you felt that either the size of the side buttons or the back end of the original U2 was something that you cannot get used to. And also, if everything about the mouse has been perfectly fine for you, but you want to use a U2 with high polling rates above 1000 Hz, most people would say there is no need, but to each their own. What I would suggest is to go for any of the shapes in the DW series. Of course, pick one that you're interested to try, and that way you will have the 4K enhanced receiver, which you can use with your original U2. You just gotta do a quick firmware update, pair it with the 4K enhanced receiver, and you can use high polling rates on that mouse. To me, that feels like more value because you get two unique shapes that you can use instead of two that are pretty much the same mouse. Now, if it is your first time getting the Zowie U2, I would suggest you just get the DW version if it's available for you and within your budget. The MSRP is likely to go up in time with how things are changing in the world, which will make Zowie mice even more expensive than they already are. So if you can, I'd say go for the DW version, because if the shape doesn't work out for you and you want to sell it off, the DW version will obviously hold a better resale value. Now just keep in mind that even though this mouse is very heavily compared to the Superlight 2, it is not a universal shape by any means, because this is a shape that many people say forces your hand into a specific posture. So if you're someone who prefers a shape that feels like you can freely hold on to it however you like, then this one will feel more restricted than others. So which do I prefer and why? Well, for me, I've been enjoying my time using the original Zowie U2 because I've adjusted well to the shape. But after experiencing both, I would go for the DW version, but only because of the chamfer at the back of the mouse, which the original version does not have. That was one thing that I found quite annoying, because when I rest my hand on the mousepad, the back of the mouse would clip the skin of my palm, so this little change is a nice improvement, specifically for people who shared a similar experience. And same goes for the side buttons as well. If you have big thumbs or are concerned about accidentally pressing on them, the U2-DW version with the slimmer side button would definitely suit you better. Now my hand size is 17.5 by 9 and the size of the U2 is usable. I think for larger hands you would probably want to wait for them to release a U1-DW, because this shape feels quite skinny at the waist. And for smaller hand sizes than mine, you can look forward to the U3-DW. Now before you go for either one, you gotta be sure that you're comfortable using fixed DPI levels. And what I mean by that is because Zowie's driverless system only lets you choose like 400, 800, 1000, 1200 and so on. There is no option to choose DPI levels in between. Also, you cannot remap your buttons and you can't save multiple profile settings. And this is the same for all Zowie mice, so don't jump right into it unless you are okay with these things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to support my channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Big fluffy doggy.